All right, everybody, this is First Warn Storm Team Chief Meteorologist Brad Panovich. This is going to be kind of a longer video, kind of going into next week's setup. We're going to show you a lot of model data. The one thing I'll preface everything I say here, don't look at each individual model. I'm going to talk about some of the bias in some of the models, but I'm going to show you a lot of ensembles, which is kind of a blend of several model runs. The confidence is growing. We're going to see winter weather next week. My confidence level is around 30 to 40% of some kind of wintry weather. The amounts, the timing, still a little suspect right now. I think the timing is becoming a little more focused. The one thing I'm pretty sure of right now, we are going to have cold air in place. I don't think it's going to be a matter of cold air. I think it's more going to be about storm track and moisture at this point. So let's get right into what's going on now. Clearly, the Arctic air is a big story today. Moving into the southeast. I mean, the temperature right now, I'm going to throw the temperature up real quickly just to show you. I'm recording this right before lunchtime, and we're still below freezing. So it's going to be one of those days, and I'll just show you quickly this afternoon as we go into the next 24 hours or so. We'll back this up a little bit and show you the next wave of cold air. Let me back this up, and I'll show you it coming down basically Valentine's Day night. So if you have dinner plans, grab the jacket for your sweetie, because it is going to be cold when you're getting out of dinner or going to that late show or coming home late. You can see that next blast of Arctic air. And again, I'll put this out to basically, this is going to be for Saturday night at 7 p.m. Look at the Arctic air spilling, and this is below zero readings up there. So the cold air is in place. We're going to establish a big old fat, what we call trough in the atmosphere. And what that is just a dip in the jet stream right here and funneling down cold air after cold air. So we're going to watch the northern branch of the jet stream and the southern branch of the jet stream kind of produce something here, and then the track here is going to be key. Little short waves are coming down on the backside of this trough, and the timing of this or phasing them out is always one of those things that's kind of difficult to do. So that's the problem going into the future. So let's start with the NAM model. We'll back this up a little bit. NAM model is a shorter range model. It tends to have some biases for too much moisture. In this case, it's actually kind of rare. It's showing not a lot of moisture. So let me put the surface pressures on here as well, because I like to show you where the surface pressures are. So again, we'll start this this time frame. This is basically during the day on Saturday. You see the Arctic front right in here, and actually this is going to become a major storm for the Northeast. We'll go into Valentine's Day, and the one thing you'll notice, this low is huge. Up here, this is a 1044 millibar high according to the NAM, and this is a 997 millibar low, which is deepening. When you have these pressure differences, this is what creates big time wind. You can see the pressure here dropping, high pressure here. This is essentially a mountain of air up here. This is a big dip, a valley of air. This air wants to rush back in there and wrap around, so you end up with these huge pressure gradients, which in the end of the day is like just a ton of wind, and wind is going to be an issue on Sunday. So dangerously low wind chills on Sunday, and a lot of cold air coming down with this Arctic front. On the back side of this trough, you see the northern branch jet stream, or the northern branch basically shortwave dropping down here on the back side of this Arctic high, and watch how this develops and kind of moves into the southeast. I'll zoom in closer, and by the way, look at that bomb off the northeast coast, but this is going to focus on the southeast here with this video. Here comes our system, very fast. This is a very fast moving system on the NAM model, and I'm a little suspect of this. Not that it's not rare for a northern branch piece of energy to come flying down because the jet stream's howling here. I just don't know if it's going to be moving this fast, but clearly that is all snow and actually winter weather well down into South Carolina and Georgia. In fact, this thing is in and out Monday, and by Tuesday, it's dry here. So that looks a little suspect to me. Let's look at the GFS model real quickly and show you what it's thinking on this setup. We'll widen it out. Let me turn off the satellite because I don't want to have current satellite image. So there comes our low. This is the weekend cold front, or the Arctic blast that we've been talking about, it seems like, ad nauseum for days. And again, as cold as it is today, trust me, Sunday, brutal cold. Okay, here comes the Arctic front diving down from the north and west. A lot of people were tweeting me, Facebooking me this morning about the overnight GFS run, and it was a complete outlier. It was a joke, and that's what you got to be careful with individual model runs. This latest run, which is the 12Z run this morning, actually swung back to pretty much what it's been showing. The overall pattern and cold air and setup really has not changed much for 3 days, to be honest with you. The details are still kind of fuzzy. Here's your big Arctic high. On the GFS, this thing's even stronger, almost 1050. This low is bombing out over the northeast coast, and this blizzard may not produce as much snow as the one in late January, but I think there might actually be more wind with this one. This is a bona fide bomb off the East Coast. Man, boy, New England. Sorry, folks. So let's focus in on the shortwave. Here it comes. You can see it up here coming out of the Montana area, diving to the south. There's also a piece of energy now coming out of Baja California, at least on the GFS, and these things are going to try to sync up. So they're coming together. We call this phasing if they can ever sync up. And again, for whatever reason, on here, GR Earth, we're only going out about 54 hours, but you can see the beginnings of low pressure developing here. Here comes the northern branch and the southern branch. So let's switch over briefly to another source. All right, and this is from our friends at Weather Bell, and you can see on the GFS, watch how, here comes the Arctic front Sunday. Monday, it tries to bring in that moisture like the NAM, but it dries it up quickly, and the southern branch energy kind of takes over here late Monday into early Tuesday morning. So by Tuesday morning, the secondary wave is going to kind of sync up, and you can actually see a low pressure forming here over southern Georgia, but another one trying to move off the coast. This phasing or jumping to the coast thing is going to be kind of interesting, but clearly we have cold enough temperatures for a wintry mix on Tuesday morning into the afternoon, and by Tuesday night, it becomes all snow on the back side of this, and then it moves off, and there's still heavy snow on the backside as the coastal low kind of takes over late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. It starts to dry out, and that's when things kind of improve, and then we go through the day on Wednesday with just cold flow behind it. But then we're watching carefully as the next system, which we don't have data yet, tries to generate another system going into Thursday. So how realistic is this scenario? Well, couple things I like to look at. One of the things are the Schreff probabilities. The NAM is very dependent on the Schreff, so is the GFS. This is Monday, 10-20% chance things are going to kind of ramp up. I look at the Schreff plume, which shows for Charlotte the chance of snow, the mean or the average about an inch of snow possible. But one of the things I really like to look at too is the European model to see what it's saying. And as we go into Tuesday, into Wednesday, it has just as much moisture as the GFS now and cold air that this would all be snow primarily. So when I look at the probabilities of 1 inch of snow off of the European ensembles, which is really kind of the way to go, this is pretty high. I mean, if you look carefully, this is through, I'm going to put this through Wednesday morning here, or Wednesday afternoon. You see that dark red? That's about a 90% probability of a 1 inch snowfall across the Piedmont of the Carolinas. That's pretty high. In fact, 51 of all 51 members of the ensemble for the European all show snow in Charlotte. So the chances really are trending up. We'll look at another product, and again, if you look at this, the meteograms here, this is the NAM model and the GFS showing snow on Monday with that first burst. It shows another burst on Wednesday, and then there's that system on Thursday, so 3 separate systems. I tell you what, this looks a lot like last year at this time when we had that 1 inch and then 3 or 4 inches and then 2 more inches the following day, 3 days in a row. The 11th, 12th, and 13th was an interesting pattern last year, and I tell you what, maybe it's going to happen again. So that's kind of my thinking right now. I really think we'll see some type of winter weather next week. I just can't give you a total, and the timing's tough because we've got 3 separate little waves, it looks like, and depending on how things evolve with the first wave, those will really impact what happens with the secondary stuff. So you want to look ahead to Thursday. It's kind of what happens with Tuesday and Monday first could really dictate what happens. The one thing that's for sure, this is an extremely cold pattern, maybe the coldest pattern we've seen since last year, but even last year it didn't last this long. This is a 7 to 10 day period of below average temperatures for the eastern half of the country. Last year we had cold snaps and it warmed up and then a cold snap. It didn't last this long. So that's my thinking right now. This is kind of a long discussion. It's going to run about 10 minutes. So thank you for watching all the way through. Of course, I'll have complete coverage starting today on NBC Charlotte at 4, 5, 6, and 11. And I'll keep you updated throughout the weekend on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, my blog, WCNC.com, our app. Please spread the word. Tell everyone, I'm going to try to keep things up to date and keep it kind of non-hype, but also be realistic. And I'm telling you, the snow trend, if I had to put the snow meter out right now, I'd put it at a 3. So watch today at 4 to see where I have it. See you then.